Epic Universe is set to be one of the most successful theme parks in history, but there is one thing that has me a little worried. Hello everybody, welcome. If you are like me, you couldn't be more excited about the first major theme park to hit Orlando in over 25 years. But there is one thing that nobody is talking about that could just be the thing that sinks them. Okay, let's get into it. Epic Universe is opening May 22nd of 2025. Unless you have been living under a rock, you did not already know that. It is going to be opening with some awesome marquee attractions, lots of shopping, entertainment, and over 20 different places to grab some food and drinks. So far, for the past couple of years, we've been talking almost exclusively about the amazing attractions and entertainment and shows that are going to be coming to this park, and they are nothing short of spectacular. I have been so excited about this park opening, and if you watch my channel at all, you will know that I have tons of positive things to say about Epic Universe. But I also try to be fair and equal when it comes to all theme parks, restaurants, shows, entertainment, all of the things. I try to be very impartial and very fair to all of them. Which means if something is off or something is bad, I will absolutely hammer it. I don't pull any punches whatsoever. So in that spirit today, I want to talk about what it is that I am worried about with regards to Epic Universe, and it is all about the food. Now, interestingly, I see lots of people talking about how spectacular the food is going to be at this park and how that Universal is elevating and raising the game when it comes to all the food and beverage options at this park. But I have to say, Universal has yet to prove to me, and I think a lot of people, that they can do theme park food very well, especially when it comes to quick service and full table service restaurants. Now, if we take a look at the existing parks, Universal Studios has around 23 different quick service and table service full dining experience restaurants in their park. Now, that number is going to vary a little bit depending on what you view as sort of a major restaurant or booth or place that you can get some food. I tried to be accurate with regards to where they were and not counting some of the little snack carts and things like that. So around 23-ish food locations in Universal Studios. That's a ton. And I bet if you've gone to Universal Studios, in your mind you're thinking, there's 23 places to get food? Where are they all? I mean, there's actually a ton if you sit down and go through the entire list of all the options available. Interestingly enough, Islands of Adventure also has 23 food options. Again, there's a few snack carts and things here and there that I'm not calculating, but basically around 23 restaurants and quick service options, which is seems even to me really high, because I feel like, honestly, when I'm in those parks, I'm struggling to find food half the time, and when I finally find someplace, the line is so long that I'm like, this must be the only food around, because there's like 100 people deep in this line to get a burger. Now, interestingly enough, from what we know about Epic Universe right now, we're only at around 19, maybe 20. I'm just going to say 20. It may be 19, but again, variability there. We don't know all the different carts and booths and things, but based on what we know, I'm just going to say around 20. So it's pretty close to what we're getting at Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure, around 20. So not too bad. Now let's compare Magic Kingdom, which is of course the marquee park, the iconic park of Disney World. They have around 19 to 20 restaurants, quick service locations available, which on the surface you're thinking, wow, that's pretty good. Like Universal and Islands of Adventure have more, and even Epic Universe is going to have just as many, if not more. So Magic Kingdom only around 19 to 20 restaurants. Now, breaking that down, Magic Kingdom has 8 full-service, table service restaurants, 11 quick-service restaurants, tons of snack carts and booths. Some of those are character dining table service options. Things like Be Our Guest, Cinderella's Royal Table, Tony's Town Square Restaurant. So overall, pretty similar to what you're getting at Islands of Adventure when it comes to in totality, the number of places to eat. But if we look at Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios, they only have 2 table service, full service dining locations in each of the parks. So that's 4 total, basically 4 between 2 parks of sit down, full-service dining locations, just 4. Whereas Magic Kingdom, like I said, they have 8. 8! That's double the amount of sit-down table restaurants in Magic Kingdom, double what Universal has total between Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure. Universal Studios has Lombards and they have Finnegan's. Islands of Adventure has Mythos and the Confisco Backwater/bar. It's really 2 places, but I just kind of consider it 1. So Universal has seemingly actively stayed away from full table service dining experiences in favor of more quick service, casual, fast casual type dining. And overall, Universal's quick service options are fairly decent. I would even go as far to say that, some of them are actually probably better than some of the quick service locations at Magic Kingdom and in Disney World. One great example is Louis Pizza. I think the Louis Italian restaurant at Universal Studios is really great for a quick service restaurant. They've got pizzas and pastas and hoagies and things like that. They got lots of options there, and it's actually pretty decent, especially for theme park pizza, which historically is pretty bad. But of course, we also have Animal Kingdom's famously amazing Flame Tree Barbecue restaurant, which is absolutely spectacular when it comes to quick service barbecue. If there is one thing that Disney knows how to do well, surprisingly, is barbecue. I'm not even a big fan of barbecue, but their barbecue is great. We have done so many reviews on their barbecue food at different locations in their parks, quick service and full service restaurants, and they just do barbecue really well. But when it comes to full service, table service dining, Disney absolutely murders Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure. Murders. Like, not only does Disney have monumentally more full-service dining locations, they're also vastly superior for the most part. Quite frankly, in my opinion, Universal's sit-down restaurants are bad. They're just not good. Lombards, Confisco, bleh, not a fan. Don't like them. I think they're busted. Finnegan's, it's probably okay, but it's not really that great either. The only restaurant that you could say is really good is Mythos at Islands of Adventure, and that has won all sorts of awards. But it's a bit fancy, so it is probably the best. I mean, it's the best restaurant they have in the parks at Universal and Islands. But other than that, it's pretty weak. So like I said, it seems like Universal has sort of shied away from full-service restaurants, and I feel like it's a strategic move. I feel like there's something strategic about that. I don't know what the math adds up to be or why. What's their rationale? Is it something about moving more people through quick service or getting them back out in the parks to spend other money? I'm not really 100% sure why. I'm sure there's some reason, but they seem to be leaning into that quick service venue type. But here's the catch. Here's the catch. It works really well at Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios, because of one reason, and I believe one reason alone, and it's called CityWalk. CityWalk has 23 dining locations just at CityWalk. The same number that Islands of Adventure has and the same number Universal Studios has, CityWalk also has another 23 restaurants to choose from, a lot of which are sit-down, full-service restaurants. So it works really well at Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios not having a lot of full-service restaurants. It makes it really easy to kind of eat at these restaurants and exit the park. Things like, there's some really good table service restaurants in CityWalk, really good ones. There's some bad ones, but there's some really great ones. Bob Marley's Tribute to Freedom, the Jamaican food there, absolutely spectacular. You've got Cowfish, Antojitos, and of course, Vivo Italian Kitchen, which is also a really good Italian restaurant. So it's really easy to kind of say, you know what? We're not really seeing any sit-down service restaurants inside Universal Studios that are appealing to us. I'm just gonna exit into CityWalk. I'm gonna go and eat at one of these sit-down restaurants out here, and then when I'm done, I'm either gonna go back into the park, or maybe I'm just gonna park hop. Go from Universal, go out to CityWalk, eat at a nice restaurant, and go into Islands of Adventure. And there's your day. It works really well. They won't have this at Epic Universe. There's no CityWalk for them to quickly walk out and go grab some food and then go back into the park. They're not going to have this. This could be really bad. I mean, this could be bad for Universal. Really bad. So this is what has me worried. But this could also be pretty awesome. So I just said it really kind of worries me because it could be really bad, but it also could be really good. Which sounds weird, but let me walk you through it. Now, before we get to why I think it could be really cool and why it could be really good for them, I want to talk about what food is going to be available at Epic Universe. Let's just go down the list really quickly so you can kind of see what options there are going to be. First off, in Celestial Park, the main hub where you enter into, there's going to be 2 sit-down restaurants there. There's going to be the Atlantic, which is a surf and turf seafood and steak restaurant, very high-end. I think this is basically going to be the mythos of the park. It has windows that sort of shimmer that make you feel like you're in sort of an aquarium space. It's supposed to be really fine, high-end dining. I think it's going to be pretty expensive. I think it's going to be kind of hard to get reservations there. I think, again, it's going to be like Mythos, which, by the way, Mythos isn't hard to get a reservation at because it's really expensive and it's been around for a while. So I think people are kind of not going there as much. But I think this restaurant's going to be difficult. I view this as being like the mythos of the park, except I think more approachable, more accessible cuisine, a less fancy. Mythos for me is just too fancy. Like I'm not a fan of go to a restaurant and get a carrot and a little smear and like some little chunk there and then I paid $30 and that's what I got, which is kind of how Mythos is. I'm oversimplifying and probably going a little bit too far with that, but it is that kind of a fancy restaurant. I think the Atlantic is going to be much more approachable to people. I think it's going to be more popular. It's got steak and seafood. And so I think it's going to be a Mythos on steroids. I think this is going to be the big hit of the park. And it is one of only 2 full-service, table-service, sit-down dining locations in the park. The second sit-down full-service restaurant is the Blue Dragon, which is a Pan-Asian cuisine restaurant. This is going to have Chinese, Japanese, and Thai food. It looks really spectacular. It's a pretty large building. It's got this like neon blue dragon there. It sounds really cool. It's also, I think, really the only real big restaurant that's going to be serving more Asian type cuisine, which seems to be something that is missing at Universal and Islands of Adventure and CityWalk. There's just not a lot of that cuisine. I know there's a few places, but they're not that great and they're more quick service. So like where you can get a good Asian cuisine, I think this is going to be it. So I'm really glad that they're bringing this element into the parks. Now that's it from a full service. Everything else we are going to talk about is all quick service. So starting out with the quick service options, still in Celestial Park, we got the Oak and Star Tavern. This is a barbecue style restaurant. Think something like the Thunder Falls Terrace there over in Jurassic Park area of Islands of Adventure, or even Flame Tree Barbecue, as I mentioned, at Animal Kingdom. So it's quick service type barbecue restaurant, which I have a lot of high hopes for because I feel like the Thunder Falls Terrace is actually pretty decent when it comes to quick service restaurant. That barbecue food, it's pretty decent. We've also got the Meteor Astro Pub, which is basically a bar with some snacks. The Celeste Tiki, which is another sort of like bar slash food snack stand area. Pizza Moon and Frosty Moon. Pizza Moon is going to be obviously pizza, so hopefully it's something like Louie's Pizza, because again, pizza at theme parks really just tends to be busted. And I'm hoping for something decent like Louie's, because when I'm in the mood for a decent sized slice of pizza, Louie's is definitely the go-to place in the park. If it's not in the park, I'm gonna go to Red Oven Pizza, which is right outside, which is really pretty decent if I'm being transparent. If you've not been to Red Oven at CityWalk, it's pretty solid pizza. Give it a try. So I'm hoping for something decent like that when it comes to pizza. Frosty Moon, which is basically right next door, is essentially ice cream. Now moving over into Super Nintendo World, of course we have the major outlet there. It's going to be Toadstool's Cafe, which has all this amazing themed food, like a Mario burger and a Luigi burger and all this stuff that's going to be very thematic to Super Nintendo World. I view this as sort of like the Minions Cafe that's over at Universal Studios, and if I'm being totally transparent, I think Minions Cafe is one of the better, if not the best, quick service location in Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios combined. I think the way it's themed with the sort of like cute little Minions themed food, there's like a banana dessert. I mean, there's all this really cool stuff in there. So not only is it visually appealing, but the food is also really good. Now, what's interesting about Minions Cafe is it kind of toes the line between quick service and table service. So you sort of go up and you order your food and then you take a seat and then they bring the food to you. It's not the typical like you order your food, you go stand in line, they give you a tray and then you walk over and you find a seat. Like they try to do almost like this in-between type thing where they're giving you the food, bringing it to your table, and you can go get free refills and things like that from the freestyle machines that are in the restaurant. The inside of the restaurant is themed really cute. It's got some really cool stuff in there, and they're pretty particular about letting people come into that restaurant and sit down. So if you're just somebody that's walking by and you're like, it's really hot, I kind of want to just go in and chill, you can't really get in there. You have to be going in for the dining experience. So Toadstool Cafe, very similar to that. Themed food. I feel like this is going to be one of the better quick service options just because of the different styles of foods that they have. Lots of cute little theming in there. And hopefully it's an elevated experience when it comes to quick service. Now they also got Yoshi's Snack Island and Turbo Boost Treats, which are basically snack carts in Super Nintendo World. Now moving over to Wizarding World, the Ministry of Magic. Starting out, we have the Cafe Lair de la Sirène, which is gonna be this sort of like charming little cafe, French pastries and sandwiches. Every time I hear about this restaurant, I think immediately, if you've ever been to the back of Epcot, in France Pavilion, there is this like little cafe in the very back where they have all these like croissant sandwiches and pastries and all these things that you can order, and then they like warm them up really quickly or put them in the oven and they come out and they're really great. I have a feeling it's gonna be something similar to that, except more of a better quick service. The one in the back of Epcot is like literally like you stand in line, they give it to you right there, and you go find a table, which there never is any tables. So I think it's gonna be like an elevated version of that. Now, not much is known about this next one, which is Le Gabet Noir, and that is basically like a, I think of it as sort of like Nocturne Alley, like where the witches and warlocks in the shadows go to eat and drink. It says there's gonna be soups and salads and a variety of entrees. We don't really know what type, but I'm guessing they're gonna be kind of themed. I'm guessing there's probably gonna be some sort of cool drink with like, you know, fog or whatever, like liquid nitrogen ice cubes or whatever to give that kind of foggy, mysterious effect or something. I don't know if there will be or not, but I think it sounds really cool. I've always wanted to maybe eat in Nocturne Alley as like a little restaurant because it just seems so dodgy back there. So the idea of this like quick little grab, you know, sandwiches place that feels very mysterious where dark witches and warlocks hang out. I don't know, it sounds kind of cool, so I'm kind of pumped about that one. We've also got Bar Moonshine, which is an American-themed bar that's gonna have all these Quidditch pennants all over it, but it's supposed to be American themed, which I think is kind of cool, because again, we're in the French Ministry of Magic, French area in this park, and they have a cool little American pub in the middle of it called Bar Moonshine. Sounds cool. And of course, we have the Beer little carts that are basically butterbeer. That's the translation in French over to butterbeer. I'm excited. I probably butchered the way that says because I just don't speak French, but you know what I mean. It's basically the butterbeer carts. So we gotta have those. Moving over to Dark Universe now, of course, we have Das Steakhouse, which is the awesome vampire familiars restaurant. Again, it's a quick service restaurant. I think people aren't seeing that fact. They're hearing about all these restaurants like the Burning Blade Tavern and the Das Steakhouse, and you're thinking, ooh, these are gonna be sit-down dining experiences. They're not. They're all quick service. So Das Steakhouse is gonna have some really cool, interesting food there. There's gonna be, of course, steak on a steak. They literally said that in the announcement video. Steak on a steak, which I think is just gonna be some sort of kebabs, but I'm really hoping it's better. I'm hoping there's like a big hunk of meat on a stick and not just like little kebabs. I'm not really a big fan of kebabs, to be honest. It's not my thing. But overall, I'm excited maybe about a steak on a steak. Hopefully we get that. And then, of course, burgers and sandwiches. So again, a quick service type dining experience. Now, if you notice in the concept art for that particular restaurant, there are people, the familiars are in that space, which I think are just the servers. So it seems to me like it's gonna be, again, like a Minions Cafe where maybe you go up and you order and then somebody brings you your food at your table. So it's kind of like treading that line between table service and quick service. Now the Burning Blade Tavern, which looks so cool to me. That's obviously the one with the windmill and the bursting of flames. And this one is gonna have literal characters roaming through the restaurant. So it's almost like a character meet and greet. It's basically where the Darkmoor monster hunters hang out in this restaurant. It's kind of like their hangout spot. And so supposedly they're gonna be walking around. I don't think that means that these are the servers. I do think it's gonna be similar to Das Steakhouse where you order, you go sit down, somebody brings you your food, but it sounds like there's gonna be maybe monster hunters, almost like character interactions roaming through the restaurant as you're eating. So again, sort of like trying to elevate quick service without having to do a full table service dining experience. Now this restaurant's gonna have burgers again. You're hearing a lot of burgers. I know you're hearing it. There's a lot of burgers. Hopefully there's different styles of burgers because I get tired of eating the same burger over and over and over again at every theme park. Like Magic Kingdom, I go there and I feel like no matter where I go, it's the same burger. I'm over it. I want different styles of burgers. So hopefully they got some good stuff there. They've got pretzels, wings, bratwurst, different types of snacks. And of course, they're gonna have some cool drinks there. And lastly, in Dark Universe, we have DeLacy's Cottage. Again, DeLacy's, if you're not familiar with that, that is essentially an homage to the family that essentially finds Frankenstein in the original movie. The little girl, they basically take him in. They sort of treat him almost like family for a little bit. And so there's a little bit of an homage to the DeLacy's there. And this is just gonna be a quick snack stand. They're gonna have things like cinnamon bread there. And of course, Twisted Taters, big hit. Obviously, Twisted Taters shows up at every big event like Mardi Gras and Halloween Horror Nights at Universal. And so they've got to have those Twisted Taters there. I'm really excited for the cinnamon bread. I think that's a big thing in different theme parks and stuff. I've never really had that cinnamon bread, but it sounds pretty cool. So maybe that's going to be like a cool new thing, maybe almost like the butterbeer of Dark Universe. I don't know. Moving over to How to Train Your Dragon area land, that will be the Mead Hall. This is going to be the big marquee quick service dining location in that particular land. I think this one's going to be really cool. I think it's going to be similar. It's going to feel, I think, similar to the Leaky Cauldron or the Three Broomsticks style type of restaurant. Very like wood, oak, different really cool things and a really neat theme, like Viking theme around it. And there's going to be things like meats and fish, even some sandwiches and some hearty like meads and drinks and things. Just think like I'm eating like a Viking. I'm thinking like big old turkey legs and stuff too. So that's what I'm kind of expecting out of that. I think thematically it's going to be really cool. I would really like it if there's maybe some like big Viking characters kind of roaming through there. They haven't said anything about that, so I doubt it. But again, I think it's going to be similar to like the Three Broomsticks or Leaky Cauldron, where you order and then you go sit down and then they bring you your food. Again, it's just different. You go to places like Magic Kingdom. If you go to Cosmic Rays Cafe, for example, you walk up, you order, you stand there. When your order is ready, they give you your tray. You have to walk over. You have to find a place to sit down and eat. They basically kind of do a lot of that for you in these quick service restaurants, the way Universal's doing it. Then we have Spitfire Grill, which is going to be basically flame-treated foods, probably burgers. I mean, I don't know, flame-broiled burgers, most likely. This place overlooks the really cool little attraction there, which I think sounds really cool, looking down on Fire Drill and being able to see those boats go around and spraying each other with water. So I'm thinking there's going to be like an outdoor area at this Spitfire Grill. Maybe the entire place is outdoor, I'm not sure. And then we have Hooligans, Grog, and Gruel, which is basically a snack area. So to recap, around 20 different locations to eat food, but only 2 of which are full service. Everything else is quick service. So earlier I mentioned this could actually be a good thing for Universal. What am I talking about? What do you mean? You said it was bad and you're worried about it, but now you're saying it's good. What are you talking about? Here's the thing. Universal, in my opinion, hasn't been able to land table service. I just don't feel like they've landed it. I feel like it's mediocre at best. I think a lot of them are not great. They don't have a lot of options. It's not great. CityWalk is where you really find your full service and a lot of restaurants out there, but in the parks, they just haven't been able to land it. But we know they have great chefs. They have great chefs at Universal and Islands of Adventure and CityWalk. There's a lot of great talent there. I know for a fact the head chef at Vivo Italian Kitchen, which is one of the best restaurants at CityWalk, I know that chef is moving to Epic Universe and is working on food and menu items there in that space. And there are tons of other chefs and cast members just basically across the board from the original parks that are moving over to Epic Universe. They're taking a lot of their top talent. They took a lot of their top talent to help build and imagine the parks. They're doing the same thing with their food. Now, of course, they are gonna have the Atlantic and the Blue Dragon, which I think are gonna be great, spectacular, awesome. But here's the thing. What I believe they're doing is seeking to elevate the quick service dining experiences. I think they are throwing everything they have into elevating quick service away from just being run-of-the-mill theme park food. I think they're strategically doing this, and that's why they don't have a ton of full-service dining locations. I think it's all about quick service, quick service, quick service, and how can we bring quick service to another level and change your expectations for what quick service dining should be. Places like Mead Hall, I think thematically awesome, similar to Wizarding World from a theming perspective. Das Steakhouse, Burning Blade Tavern, characters, roaming, different things like that, cool experiences. Oak and Star Tavern, killer barbecue food, most likely. And then Toadstool Cafe, again, like Minions, just that really experiential setting, experiential, artistic food. I think it's gonna be really cool. So overall, if they pull it off, if they put everything they have into elevating that quick service experience, I think it's gonna go crazy. It's gonna actually, I think in many ways, disrupt some of the other theme parks like Disney, SeaWorld, other locations where the quick service is really just ho-hum, not great, not good at all. I think they're gonna disrupt the entire theme park market by raising the expectations for what quick service should be, if they can pull it off. If not, then Epic might just fall a little bit short on expectations. So we'll just have to wait and see. I'm not sure which way it's gonna go. I'm really looking forward to getting into the park and trying some of the new food. Let me know what you think. Are you excited about this park? Are you excited about the cool food options? Because the food is really part of the experience. You don't just go and ride rides and then bail. Like you're getting food and snacks and experiences and meeting with characters and interactions and things all throughout the day. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear from you. Hit me in the comments below and tell me what your thoughts are. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, hit the notification so you know when the next video drops. And of course, share this video with your friends if they're big fans of Epic Universe. Anyhow, that's all we've got. So thanks again for joining me and thanks for watching. Until I see you next time, the noble way is the easy way. Bye-bye, everybody.